everyone! In this video, I'm going to tell you about the synopsis of Extraordinary Attorney Woo Episode 1. First Day on the Job. Episode 1 of Extraordinary Attorney Woo begins with a beautiful visual metaphor. A single blue plastic dog among an army of yellow. Ever since she was little, Woo Young-woo has always been the odd one out. When she was 5, Young-woo was diagnosed with autism, which explains why she is quiet and reserved. She has Asperger's syndrome, and when her father gets into an altercation with her neighbor, Young-woo suddenly speaks up and rewrites criminal laws. She is an absolute genius. Young-woo loves whales too, and everything in her house includes these mammals, from puzzles and pictures through to sleepers she's obsessed. It's quite reminiscent of At Pickle, like another Netflix drama that tackled this, and just like that series, Attorney Woo gets off to a bright start. Fast forward to the present and Young-woo gets dressed and eats her kimbap breakfast. She's also given instruction by her father, including not speaking about whales in the office. She's the first ever autistic attorney and even finished first place with honors at law school. While on her way to work, she listens to whale noise on the train. It helps to calm her mind, and she even imaged a whale outside following along with the carriage. When she arrives, Young-woo meets Jun-ho, who greets her cheerfully in the lobby and brings her along to Attorney Jung Myung-suk's office. Young-woo meets Myung-suk along with his associates too. After brief introductions, Myung-suk takes Young-woo's application to CEO Han, where he's surprised by her accepting Young-woo despite her being autistic. He's clearly flustered when Han challenges his ideals and fixed way of thinking. They strike a deal. Han agrees to let Young-woo go if she can handle a case Myung-suk is going to give her, so our flustered attorney heads back and gives Young-woo her first case. This involves an old lady in her 70s. Her husband has dementia, but while smiling off, she struck him in the head with an iron. However, the iron resembles a whale, so naturally, Young-woo changed the subject and rattled off a big old monologue about how much she loves sperm whales. When Young-woo does focus again, we see what transpired between the old lady, Young-ran, and her husband. Their argument led to her striking him with an iron, and as a result, she's charged with attempted murder given it has taken him 12 weeks to recover. So what should Young-woo be doing? Well, that falls to getting Young-ran probation on her charge. Young-ran heads in and is introduced to Attorney Woo, but she is quite taken aback by the first fact that has ASD, autism spectrum disorder. When Young-ran just warmed up a little, realizing that Woo was the little girl up from the past, Young-woo began asking about her living arrangement. Now, it seems Young-ran's husband was actually a section chief, but he's now retired. They've been living off the pension, and the house is actually in her husband's name. Off the back of this, Young-woo conducts an alternate statement of opinion, including a not guilty plea of Young-ran's attempted murder. Myung-suk is shocked at the outcome she's come to. Woo fights her case too, bringing up how this is a civil case and how the murder will have actually put Young-ran at a bigger detriment given she can inherit her house or anything else from him. So although she can fight against the physical assault, Young-woo wants to change the cause to inflicting bodily injury instead. Myung-suk is impressed with Young-woo and apologizes for bluntly mentioning ordinary attorneys in front of her. "It's okay, I'm not ordinary," she says before leaving. On her way out, Young-woo is on course to visit the hospital, but in order to do so, she needs to go with Jun-ho. In the lobby, Young-woo rattles off the pros and cons of revolving doors to him. Jun-ho brings up her interesting name and helps her out the revolving doors too. Young-ran is there at the hospital watching over her husband, who's still recovering. He happens to be the same man who got hot and bothered at her father during the past flashback. The guy is shocked at that jerk's daughter, arriving referencing Young-woo's appearance, and everything escalates into a messy ordeal. Back at the office, Myung-suk decided that they should try and push for a jury trial. Just before they leave for the day, he encouraged Youngwoo to work on her speaking for when this goes to court. Eventually, the case began, but Woo Young-woo frees, leading Young-suk to speak for her. It very much touch and go, with poor Young-woo struggling to get her words out. When Woo's sister and father show up, though, she gains the courage to begin her opening statement. Woo begins by telling the court that she is on the autism spectrum. The prosecution come on strong, firing rapid questions at Young-ran and backing her into a corner. She is teary-eyed and apologizes, meaning the defense to need to up their game and begin an interrogation of their own. Part of this comes from Young-woo questioning Mr. Park, with Myung-suk encouraging her to get cursed at by the old man to show off his prickly character. As she steps up, Mr. Park immediately begins lashing out, cursing at Young-woo, claiming the defense are all in cahoots together. When court joins again, Young-woo starts her statement, but there's a problem. Mr. Park has actually died on his way to the hospital. Young-woo blames herself for what happened. Jung-ho is there for her though and encourages Young-woo to talk about whales when they're together to calm her mind. It's also had efforts at that of helping Young-woo focus on the crucial parts of the case, including how Mr. Park actually already had the head as prior to the iron strike. It would appear that his brain hemorrhage occurred prior to this. If the case, then the fact that doctor hasn't diagnosed a fracture or any discernible wound from the iron itself means Young-ran is not in the wrong here. Young-woo brings all of this up in court, which ultimately leads to a favorable outcome for Young-ran. And with the doctor determining that the brain hemorrhage was not caused by the iron strike, the jury helped to confirm lift all change from Young-ran and come to a not guilty verdict. That night, Han shows up to see Kwang-ho, Young-woo's father, as it would appear the pair have history. That's it for the video. Bye!